YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel web for all things geeky and cool. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to our Funko review and unboxing video. And I'm doing something a little bit different, a little bit off the cuff, if you will. That's right, we're talking about a pop ad icon. This time, of course, it's Toys R Us's Geoffrey, the giraffe mascot. Now, if you don't remember, maybe you lived under a rock, about 4 to 5 years ago, they closed down all the US-based Toys R Us. That's right, it makes Rook a very sad panda. Sad panda. I used to love going to my Toys R Us, but they kept Toys R Us open in two separate ways back then. They kept both the website open for Toys R Us, and of course the Canada stores remained open. They didn't close any of those stores up, at least as far as I know. Maybe a store here or there, but they still have a Toys R Us present in Canada. In the US, that's not the case. And before I get ahead of myself, I hope you do like this video content, this video review, if you will. Smash that like button, click subscribe. One little click from you means a lot to me, especially across the YouTube platform and that algorithm. All hail the algorithm. For people looking for this content can find it. And the very first thing I always do in a breakdown segment like this, where I talk about a pop, specifically this sort of pop, is talk about the packaging and presentation. And we'll talk more about Macy's right here in a moment. So let's talk about the packaging first. We have the pop ad icon right here, the Toys R Us logo, pop number 165, a nice little window box of Geoffrey right here. He actually is dressed in a sweater wrapped in lights, which looks really, really neat when you get him out of packaging. It does say Geoffrey and Toys R Us. And right here, as I mentioned before, they talked about Macy's, which we'll talk about that again momentarily. Nice little side shot of Geoffrey, what it looks like out of the packaging. Over here, it does say Geoffrey right there in his sweater. And the back of the packaging is kind of a one-off for Toys R Us and Macy's. A nice little shot there, and Geoffrey. Now, let's put him on turntable and talk a little bit about that Macy symbol, as you saw right there. Basically, about 2 years ago, they decided to do pop-up stores. I want to say 20, as far as recording this video is 2023. I want to say it was 2021. They started putting Macy's, got together with Toys R Us and make these pop-up stores inside most of your mall's Macy's stores. If you go to your local Macy's, you might see a spot that says Toys R Us. It's basically a scaled-down version of Toys R Us in the Macy's mall. Is it the greatest idea? I don't think so, per se. I wish we had our old Toys R Us's back, but that's something that has not happened. I doubt if it will happen going forward. I heard rumors that they may be opening up stores again, but I have yet to see that happen. So with that being said, let's get Geoffrey here out of the packaging and continue the breakdown segment. Alright guys, we have a pop ad icon, Geoffrey, Macy's exclusive pop out of packaging. Next thing we do, take a pop out of packaging, we look at the paint and articulation. First things first, he's very, very thin. It kind of caught me off guard when I took him off card. I thought he'd fall over, be maybe back heavy or top heavy, go to the sides or the back, but that didn't happen here. He does stand pretty well. He does not sport a figure stand, which again caught me a little bit off guard. I thought he would because he has a very lanky body, but again, he looks pretty good. Again, real throwback feeling to Toys R Us for Geoffrey. I remember this character years ago. That's the only reason, guys, why I bought this pop. If it was any other character, I would have passed on him just because it's Toys R Us mascot. That's the reason why I bought Geoffrey here. Let's focus on that head sculpt. It looks neat. Again, he's dressed in Christmas lights that wrapped around his little antlers here, his little horns. Looks really, really cool. All sorts of colors, the big Christmas lights. This, of course, was a tandem release in 2022 with the holiday season. That's why he looks like this. That's why he's dressed, of course, in the ugly sweater, which looks really neat. I like the ugly sweater. He does have, again, lights. He's wrapped in all these lights. But we've seen very similar pops like this from Marvel and DC where characters are dressed in lights for the holiday season. So it's kind of a feeling of nostalgia, at least to me, with those lines as well. But again, I love Geoffrey, the character from Toys R Us. That is the only reason, again, why I bought this particular pop. Articulation, his head will spin 360 right there with no hindrance, which I think is pretty good. He is not a bobblehead, which I'm very happy about as well. Again, let's look at that kind of the ugly sweater. It looks really neat. He does have a little tail that comes off to the side, and he has his little hooves as well. Let's bring him back to the turntable here. Spin him in 360 so you can see what he looks like. What are my final thoughts on this pop? Should you buy or should you pass? That's personal preference. You want my honest opinion here. Again, I was a big fan of Toys R Us growing up as a kid, and that's the only reason why I bought this pop. I keep going back to that. If you're not a fan of pop ad icons, if you don't like Geoffrey, if you don't like Toys R Us, this would be probably a hard pass in my honest opinion. He is a Macy's exclusive, and I only saw one of him on that recent toy hunt, which I was talking about near the beginning of the video. He was the only one there, and I think the price point, I want to say was $10. It might have been $8.99. It was between $8.99 and $10. might be lying. I think it was between $8 and $10. On the secondary market, if you take a look on eBay, I think it's going between $20 and $30. But that's up to you if you want to spend that type of money to buy this character. Again, feeling nostalgia is the reason why I went into this particular pop. And I do hope you like this video review of my personal opinion of the Pop Ad Icon Macy's exclusive Geoffrey Pop. Remember to click that like button on the page, click that all important subscribe button picture of my face. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified of my latest videos. And of course, last but not least, you click windows here and here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. See you next video. And bye-bye.